Ahoy there, Elder Scrolls Legends fans. I'm DeadBrokeNerd, and you're watching DBN and Friends. This is a series where I interview prominent members of the Elder Scrolls Legends community in order to inspire the next wave of TESOL content creators. This episode, I'll be speaking with a fellow caster and member of Team Rankstar, known for his soothing voice, luscious hair, and his role as host in the Master Series finals at QuakeCon. That's right, you guessed it. We're chatting with Lazergician. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of DBN Friends. As promised, I have Lazergician with me, the man, the myth, the legend, the host from QuakeCon. He's doing it up back home now. And Lazer, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh man, I've been since we moved to video format. It's been on my short list to have you back on. We did that article, which I guess I'll link it for people in the description. But yeah, we did that article, and I was like, Lazergician is such an interesting guy to talk to, like, audio wise. We gotta do this.
Lie to the viewers, man.
No, it's definitely true.
Host to lie.
No, the Master Series qualifiers, when we'd sit there and like the warm up segment while Costa's struggling to get everything ironed out. I mean, it was always a blast, man. As long as I wasn't half asleep, which was most of the time.
That's true. You did have a penchant for not being all there until like the second or third cup of coffee.
Yeah, no, it just be just downing them. But yeah, so for anyone living under a rock, or for someone who didn't watch the Master Series, tell me a little bit about yourself, Lazergician. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Lazergician, also known as Laser, and normally known as Alex. I live in Boston right now. I'm originally from San Francisco. Started playing Legends in the open or closed beta, one of the betas. Started taking it more seriously right after QuakeCon last year. Somewhere like that, around like the Heroes of Skyrim-ish era. I started like trying to give a crap about it.
Yeah.
And then kind of hit it a little more once Heroes of House of Morrowind came around. Been casting. I cast a lot of Warp Meta events when those were still running. RIP. Casted TRS Classics as well as the Master Series qualifiers, and now I hosted the Master Series at QuakeCon last week. Technically I'm an affiliate Twitch streamer, but I do it so infrequently that really doesn't mean a lot. Twitch.tv/Lazergician.
There you go.
I put a little more effort into my YouTube channel, where I do mostly Legends content. Actually, I literally just tonight uploaded my first Let's Play episode. I'm doing a Let's Play of Devil May Cry 5 because single-player games
that's
are awesome.
cool.
And now that QuakeCon's over, I have more time to actually devote to things that aren't Legends. So
yeah,
as much as I still love that game. I'm absolutely still making content for it. I'm looking forward to making other content. And then when Mythgard does its account wipe it's coming soonish. I don't know if it's public knowledge when it's happening. Once that happens, I'm going to do a lot of more Mythgard content as well, because I love that game and I think it has a lot of promise. And I want to get on the ground floor, but it's kind of hard to devote a lot of your time to it when your card collection.
Yeah, No, I've watched Endo play a lot of it, it looks so cool. But I already have too many games to play. If my account's gonna get wiped, I'm just gonna wait for it to come out. But what intrigues me the most, and I'm interested to hear your perspective before we kind of focus in on TESOL with Mythgard, because now it's interesting to me. Like the 2v2 mode, that is just something that I would love to see more of in other games.
Dude. It's so much fun. I remember I was playing 2v2s with Burn the Sky, a guy who plays Legends and has put a ton of time into Mythgard. Single-handedly got several cards nerfed because his decks were so
my god.
I
can see that though.
Him, and then a couple other people who were just like randomly popping in on a stream. It's great. 2v2 mode, I don't think it'll ever be competitive because it's a lot of overhead to get that many people. It means like literally your bracket gets cut in half if you're doing 2v2 instead of 1v1. But I don't know. It's so much fun.
I remember as a kid like sitting down and playing, Yu-Gi-Oh, like two-headed monster variants,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like and I think I did it with like Versus system too. Like I know Magic's got is Commander 2v2? Is that
So
I don't know Magic. I don't understand it.
I got you, bro. So first of all, Yu-Gi-Oh! I remember I went with my brother to our local Toys R Us every Saturday to play
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! At like 8 in the morning, and God bless my mom, she drove us every week.
Oh, that's so good.
But yeah, we would play the two-headed mode as well because my brother didn't know what he was doing. I was maybe like 10, which meant he was 8. We barely even knew what like attack meant other than attack good, hit face yay.
Yeah.
And then Magic has Commander is technically it's encouraged to be 4-person free for all. Commander is my favorite Magic format because it's a bunch of fun. And then there's Two-Headed Giant, which is another like 2v2 mode. And then there you can do Magic is really freeform with its formats. Like if you're not playing like modern, legacy, vintage, or standard, then you can kind of just do whatever you want.
I mean, I kind of like that though. I like that flexibility. That's well, that's cool, man. Yeah. So,
by the way, for the night we have Harpoon Rec League on deck. It's a very nice, very easy drinking, low alcohol percentage, but still tasty. So it's really good for weekdays.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Hashtag sponsored. I mean, just kidding. We're not.
Oh my
but
god! If Harpoon sponsored me, I would be so excited.
You should reach out. Hey, I just hosted QuakeCon. Sponsor me. Do it. The thing is, they might actually consider that like a streamer and YouTuber. Like, is it like how small is it? Like the
it's big enough.
It's big enough. Okay. I mean, because I know that like local like there's actually so much in Virginia, local breweries. I mean, I know they're everywhere, but like Virginia, we have like so many. But like there's like 3 in my area alone, and they do all sorts of local sponsorship. That's actually.
I'm sorry.
Well,
that sounds terrible.
Well, Virginia's not that bad. I like Virginia. Virginia's not that bad. I tell you what, though, like it's pretty miserable right now. I mean, it's like 100 degrees and like ridiculous humidity. That's the thing. It's the humidity on the
Answer me this. I assume you have your camera on, right?
Yes.
Okay, I can't see your camera, but
no, you can't.
Is your camera like chest up? Are you wearing pants right now?
I mean, I am wearing pants, but you can't see them.
Okay.
Because it is chest up.
You could just be lying to us again.
That's true. I could.
Okay. I just want to.
The world may never know.
Stop distracting us.
No, yeah, it's okay. This is what the viewers want, I think. If not, that's what they're getting.
I mean, you know what? It's your show, damn it. You can do what you want.
That's right. That's very empowering.
do we swear on the show? Probably not, right?
I think we keep it like PG-13, so all like right. One F-bomb, right?
Yeah, sure. we use the Friday stream rules. You get 1 F-bomb per show.
Yeah, there you go. Late night.
You're the host, so I'll let you have it.
Oh, well, I probably won't use it. It's honestly something that I try to keep out of my vocabulary as much as possible. It's I mean, in normal conversation with friends, I drop it all the time. I mean, I'm not perfect, but on stream, I just have this like weird, like tingly in the back of my head when I say bad words. It's like a reverse spider sense,
Yeah.
But anyways, so let's talk. We got all kinds of off track, but it was worth it. But let's talk about QuakeCon. I mean, that's the big news, man. Yeah, that's the big news. I don't know where to start. Let me ask this. Let's start with this. Give me a lowdown. What was the most interesting thing that happened during the traveling portions? So not have anything to do with what you did at QuakeCon.
Well, okay, so this is the closest. Overall, it went very smoothly, which is a godsend.
Yeah.
Unsmooth travel is the worst. But there are 2 interesting things. The first is being hired for QuakeCon. I had someone pick me up from the airport and pick me up from the hotel to take me to the airport when I left. Which was so bougie. It felt amazing. I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
No, so I'm usually like my family's always been a very live below your means kind of group. Mm-hmm. So, it felt nice being picked up because it felt like I was, valued and important, which like it's not something I chase, but everyone likes their ego stroked a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that was really nice. The only other interesting thing, because again, it went pretty well, was my flight home on Sunday was at 7 in the morning. I'm the kind of guy who gets to like domestic flights 2 hours early because that's how my mom did it, and therefore that's how I do it too. So that meant I had to leave at like 4:30 to be there at 5. So first of all, God bless the dude picking me up, because I got out there at like 4:30 and he was standing outside his car like he'd been there for a half hour already.
Dang, all right.
Homie was the best.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, the Dallas airport is empty at 5 in the morning. But by the time the first batch of flights is going out at 7, there's a lot of people there. It was weird going from like 0 to 100 over the course of the time.
How big is the Dallas airport?
Dude, it's
like,
so big.
It's got to be huge, right?
It's so big. Yeah, so I used to date a girl who lived in Dallas. So we went to visit her family one time. And I swear to God, if she hadn't been there, I would have gotten completely lost in that airport. It was ridiculous how large the thing is.
Yeah, I mean, the closest, I mean, I've only ever flown out of DC, you know, and that's pretty big, you know.
It's sizable.
It is. And I just, you know, but I've heard all these stories about the Dallas airport just being a monstrosity.
You know what's worse than Dallas? LAX, the Los Angeles airport.
Yeah.
Is bad.
Oh man, I've never been on the West Coast, and not really sure how interested I am in going over there, to be honest.
There's some really nice places, and there's some places that are like good to visit for a couple days and then good to leave. That's how I feel about New York, right? It's like I'm glad I went. I'm glad I'm leaving when I'm leaving.
Yeah, you could say, "Oh, I've been to New York." Yeah, you know, and then you're like, "But I've been there, and I'm not still there."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so walk me through this. QuakeCon hosting. I happen to know that you must have done some stuff like leading up to the day of, right? You guys recorded some stuff. I saw that when you would interview the players, and that kind of came up in between matches and stuff, which, by the way, was really, really cool to have that on hand. So what was that like? That's got to be a very interesting atmosphere to meet the players. They're probably stressed out, I got to imagine.
So here's how that like sequence of events worked. Everyone flew in on Wednesday at you know, some point, whatever worked for their schedule. A lot of people were on the same flight because they kind of, the way PGL did it was they kind of get you into an airport where they know how to get you to Boston, and then have as many people on that flight at the same time as possible. So if like something screws up, it screws up for everyone. Not one screwed over. So, you know, everyone got there at some point on Wednesday. And 6 out of 8 players were non-American. So most of them were very tired, very jet lagged, and like they need some time to adjust. So the fact that they got an extra day this year as opposed to last year to adjust to that was really great.
Yeah.
The next day, we had the interviews scheduled to film around, I had to be there at like 9:30 for makeup. And then we did it sort of like 10-ish. It was a little late, so it was more like 10:15, 10:20, but 10 o'clock. And we had scheduled 20 minutes for everybody. But because we started late, they said, okay, the first one with Thuldir was too long. Make the rest of them 10 minutes. Sure, no problem. That really only gave me enough time to kind of do a standard array of questions. Things like, you know, what was the favorite deck you brought? How do you feel about your first matchup? Is there anyone you're really afraid of? Spoiler alert, the answer is Thuldir.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah, right? And then maybe we would dig into one, maybe 2 responses. It's like for Karakhan Jewel, I really wanted to get his take on his deck building style. For Wida, I really wanted to hear about his mid-range sorcerer because that's his signature deck. Super Thanks actually asked about TRS, but he basically said, yeah, everyone's in different time zones, so it was really hard, which is totally fair. But there wasn't a lot of time to do more than like one personalized question each, which was totally fine because, you know, you don't want to goad anyone into giving away what they're going to do the next day. You don't want to have them spoil their secrets. But it didn't feel rushed either, because 10 minutes is a long time. If you really think about it, like if you ever just sat and like stared at a wall for 10 minutes.
I try not to think about those times.
It's called falling asleep, right?
Yeah.
But
But yeah, I mean,
overall,
10 minutes. Yeah.
it was really positive.
Hmm.
Everyone had different levels of confidence in their English, so it was really cute seeing a couple of people like falter a little bit and get a little sheepish. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
no, dude, you are killing it. Don't even
Yeah.
worry, man. It's kind of
No,
funny because
man.
part of doing the interview process was also like encouraging them to talk. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't get a good interview out of someone who's shy,
Hmm.
and we're all card game nerds. Like being personable is kind of rare. That's why my doing what I do is valuable.
Yeah.
And kind of getting them to come out of their shell over the course of the interview. Like Thulzier, for instance, when he
Hmm.
first started, he was like, I don't want to say scared, but he was
Hmm.
obviously a little nervous.
Hmm.
By the end of the interview, he was like, yeah, I got this idea rolling up, and I love this deck for this reason, and I think I'm gonna blah blah blah. It was great watching like over the course of the weekend people opening up more, and even over the course of like 1 10-minute interview, people got more and more comfortable.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see that. I even commented, right? I was watching it with my roommate at one point, and we were looking at the interviews, and we were kind of chuckling because my roommate and I have watched so much Dota 2. Like
Yeah,
we watch Dota 2 tournaments all the time, and it's funny because there's this idea that all these guys that are playing and that they're interviewing are just big old nerds,
I know, right?
and a lot of times, especially and I find it, strategy gamers tend to be a little bit more kind of can get their thoughts together a little bit better and can get over that lack of comfort, especially like card game players. I just think there's a different dynamic in your brain that wires for card games, and how you interact with an opponent and stuff like that, especially if you
Yeah,
play it
definitely.
in person, right? But just we were just laughing about like, oh man, they're carting all these poor guys out to have to talk, and but they definitely, like, I just props to you in that respect, because they definitely seemed like everybody seemed fairly comfortable and willing and excited to share, what they were doing with their decks, or their thoughts on the matchup, and like everybody seemed open to talking about that, which is kind of rare in the grand scope of interviewing gaming pros. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
uh
You get a wide gradient of social comfort levels,
mhm,
uh, people having just things to say to start with. Some people are very reserved, even if they can be completely comfortable but not have anything to contribute. I've been
mhm.
in that position a million times. Like, when the TRS competitive team is talking about why a deck is good or bad, I'm kind of just feel like it worked for me at rank 3 on the ladder. So like,
Yeah.
I'm totally comfortable talking. Sometimes I just don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
So eh, you get all types.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was just, I mean, just like I said, in comparison to sometimes where you look at these guys and they're just like, they don't want to talk. They're kind of
Yeah,
wide-eyed, what's going on? Can I get out from behind the camera now,
yeah.
But that never really came across. It just felt very warm, which was so cool. And that kind of ties in, actually. I mean, I felt like the visuals, in general were top notch.
They were
I was
such a good upgrade.
very impressed. Yeah.
Yeah, the people who did the graphics
Hmm.
absolutely knocked it out of the park. When we were in rehearsal, we went over all of the graphics and what they looked like, so we would, know what to look out for when I threw us to, like, say someone's decks. We
Hmm.
knew that it was going to be one at a time. It wasn't going to be all four laid out like it's been in some tournaments. We knew that it's going to, like, show what country they're from, so we can bring that up. And the very first thing we said was, "Oh my god, these are really good."
Yeah. I mean, it came through, and like, again, I mean, this is no. I'm not going to insult Team Rankstar. We did. I felt like a good job. But I mean, there's that's a next
But
level with
here's the thing.
just that polish. Just, oh, it was so cool to see Tessel in that form.
You say we did a good job. Really, it's just Zodi did a good
Yeah,
job.
you're right. And actually, that brings up a great point. One thing that was missing, there was no instructional videos. I mean, how are people supposed to know about the lane mechanics?
I have
Come
no idea. What
on,
about like
PGL.
why people aren't attacking runes?
Right. Why aren't they? It was actually really funny seeing people commenting, like asking questions like that in there. And
Did they really? So here's
yeah,
the funny
people were
thing.
asking like questions about that stuff in
I had
chat.
zero access to chat the entire time.
That's
Which,
actually interesting.
well, it's really good because it'd be very distracting, and
Hmm.
for bigger events, there's a lot going on. It was
Yeah.
really loud. There were like laser lights in your eyes all the time. Not my lights, like literal lasers behind us. I'm not
Yes,
sorry.
literal lasers. Yes,
yeah.
the Lazergician, and he controlled them with magic.
No. But there's a lot more going on than when you're sitting in your bedroom, and the worst you have to think about is whether or not your AC is too loud.
Yeah.
So, like, if I had chat, it would have been really, really bad, really distracting. So I'm glad I didn't. But I missed out on
the forbidden fruit, you know. I tell you what was really funny is I'm aware that Ian Bits was there in the audience. Yep. And I'm also aware that he was really active in chat at the same time, which was pretty hilarious.
The thing that Ian did that was really great is he made customized signs to hold up for each of us to try and get us to laugh on stream.
Yes.
Luckily for us, I had a lot of hair. Wow. They ended up putting us on the opposite side of where Ian sat. So we were like looking at the cameras, but he was over in this direction. So we didn't really see them. But the one that I did see is I still believe in PDMD.
I think I saw that on Twitter. Yeah. Oh man. I saw like a Reddit shit post or something that was like, it was something like, the bids are locked in, but here's how PDMD can still make the Masters finals. Oh man, so good.
That was a good meme off.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask this: you're sitting at the desk, and you guys are in the middle of the kind of the pre-game, pre-matchup. You're kind of talking about the what decks you're looking at, stuff like that, and you're kind of leading that discussion. I'm wondering. I saw, of course, we don't get to see what's on your side of the desk. What was that like? How much did you prep and bring to the table with you? And then how much did you have a screen back there that you could see what's happening? Like what all was behind that desk is what I'm interested in.
So the desk was, there was like a flat portion and then a big old slope.
Okay.
And on the bottom of the slope, there was like a vertical surface where they put a couple of monitors so we can see what is on the live stream.
Oh, that's helpful.
It's very helpful, but that's all we saw. So if the camera was on my face, I just saw a bunch of big ass monitors with laser face on it. Which it's really handy to know that, I should be looking up at the camera, not down at the screen, because there's a camera on me. Or, okay, we're in the game. I need to leave the stage now that it's safe, that they're not going to see me moving around. But that meant that anything that I wanted to bring up or any notes or stuff, I had to have my own. And in fact, I didn't have any.
I happen to know that's a little out of character for you.
Well, so I was taking notes on how the matches went. I think at one point during the stream, I just held up my notebook and said, "Yeah, we usually have notes going on." All I wrote down was fade on, fade on, fade on. Punch the news or fade on.
Fade on.
Which was that was a fun moment, but I didn't have any preparation for stuff I wanted to bring up. But most of what I brought up is stuff that I've been bringing up for the last year and stuff that I was talking about with the players and the other casters overnight. We had 2 days before, Wednesday and Thursday before the on Friday. So I had a pretty good handle on what I wanted to bring up. Plus, all the other casters, obviously, they're talking about whatever they're talking about. You can always just extend on that. So if someone says, I'm trying to think of something Charmer at one point said that Super Thanks should have banned Boom's Life's Tribunal. And this is a post-match thing, not a pre-match thing, but same idea. We just brought that notion back and went into it further. Has that opinion changed after the series went on? What made you think that? And it ends up being pretty easy when you have enough comfort level on camera and with the other casters that you're not really... This is hyperbolic, of course, but for me, it felt less like I was hosting or casting and more like I was sitting around a table talking about the games with my friends.
Yeah.
Which, when you get to that point, it's really easy to keep conversation flowing because, hell, you and I talked about the Dallas airport for a solid 5 minutes.
That's true. We did.
If we can make that happen, then I'm pretty sure the five of us can make some cool conversation happen about card games.
Yeah. And you already have that rapport with Silverfuse especially and Charmer.
Yep.
I mean, that's got to be That's got to have that. And actually, the dynamic was so different, really, right? With the TriCast, it felt a lot less kind of formal, like one person is kind of announcing the plays and someone else is commenting on it and analyzing. It felt just more free form, the three people casting. And of course, I know you weren't casting, you were hosting, but I mean, I found that I found that like kind of fascinating, and it was a different vibe, maybe a little less like overall like hype, but it certainly felt like everyone was very comfortable kind of bouncing ideas off of each other, which felt really interesting from a spectator perspective.
Want to know the secret about that? Everyone was afraid of talking too much.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, because we talked beforehand about like making sure that everyone like got time to talk. We didn't want we talked specifically about how the difficulty of TriCasting is that it can end up being like, the world's saddest three-way. You have two people sitting around and then one person who's like, or two people having fun and then one person sitting around in the corner not getting any action. So we talked about a good amount of like ways to kind of mitigate that, things like holding your hand up or like kind of doing this sort of thing when like to indicate that you had something to say, or like if someone hadn't spoken for a while, leading questions or physically looking at them to indicate that it was their turn. But I truly believe that if we had like a year's worth of TriCasting practice between this year and next year, you would see a lot more of that. I don't want to call it formality, but I would call it structure emerge, where I really think the best TriCasting composition is one play-by-play and two casters and two analysts. So if you go back and watch, you'll see that CVH ended up filling the play-by-play role pretty often.
Yeah.
In most games where he was on the desk, he was kind of sitting in for me, where he like would fill airtime with what the plays are and then hand it off to someone else when he wanted more information. And I think that structure works really, really well, but we hadn't worked together enough to really embed that structure yet. So while I think there's a lot of positive to the friends sitting around style of casting, in my personal opinion, that's better suited for the pre and post game, and that you still want to keep that natural flow and that like kind of spirit to it. But I do personally believe, and people might disagree, that's totally fine, but I personally believe that having a little more structure to it helps a lot in managing expectations while you're casting, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to know when, as a play-by-play, I should shut up unless I know that the two casters know how to trade off, or like they know how to interject when they need to, things like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, I have felt the same way at times casting, and I mean, I've had conversations with Costa when Costa and I cast. We've done it a few times, and typically we're not always together because we tend to be like the loudest,
Shout out to Charmer using the signature Costa line. We have a series on our hands.
I knew that would come up. I knew it. I was like, it's gonna happen.
Did you catch my Ahoy?
No, I didn't. When was that?
You missed the Ahoy?
I missed that. When what? I watched the whole thing.
No, that was coming back for like the third game.
Oh no!
Go back and look. I said Ahoy, Elder Scrolls Legends fans. There's a fly in here.
Oh my gosh!
No, go back. I shouted you out and everything, buddy.
In my man. No, I mean, I think and I like to think that if anyone in Elder Scrolls says Ahoy, they think of me. All right, I've cultivated that very carefully. All right,
very justified.
Working on a Ahoy emote for my Twitch channel. So,
as you damn well should.
Yeah, right. And speaking of Twitch emotes, are we going to get Laser Champ as an emote sometime soon?
God, I hope so.
You got to put that. You said you're a Twitch affiliate. Get to it.
I have two slots that I'm probably going to use one of those on. The other I really want is I want to do like a chibi Viking doing finger guns and call it Laser Pew.
I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, I just haven't sprung to find an artist to do it.
Yeah. No, I mean that was well. Actually, it was pretty easy. I actually tweeted asking about if anybody recommend it, and like 17
Oh, I did
people
too. I
17
did that
people
too.
were like, I'll do
Just
it, and I was like, oh god, I didn't expect that. Maybe I'm it kind of shows my ignorance, I think, a little bit of Twitch and Twitter culture, and of you ask if someone knows anybody, and then everybody advertises themselves, which I can't say I blame them, but
anybody know anybody? Why, yes, I know me.
yeah, right, exactly. That's it. But yeah. So let me ask this. We've talked a lot about kind of the casting, or not the casting, the hosting side of things. Let me ask from a spectator, what was that like watching the games? Were you actually able to pay close attention to what was going on? Were you busy prepping? And of course, the real question is, what was your favorite part watching?
Okay, so first things first, watching the games. I had kind of two ways to do that. They wanted me off the desk during games, so that between games they could look at the casters.
Mm-hmm.
Very fair. So I would, hand it off to the casters. All right, you guys ready? Let's go. They would cut to the game. I would exit the stage. So I could either kind of wander around in the seats, which I did a good amount. I'd like watch from the sideline, or go sit with Eolus and Arkham Warlock and Ian Bits and hang out. But more often than not, I would go backstage where they had like a little curtained off room set up. It's called the green room. And they had a TV set up there where they had the broadcast. And then I just never took my microphone and earplugs or headphones out, so I could always hear the cast, which kind of was a problem when they left my microphone on after I exited the stage once. But,
Uh-oh.
that was funny. But yeah, between those two options, I could watch the game pretty well. I kept my little notepad of paper between on stage and off stage, so I could keep track of who won what games, and I have like a personal system for keeping track of how a series goes, and then a list of what decks they had available, so I could like look down at my notes during the post game conversation to like say, okay, who was the one who had the guild sworn again? Oh, all right, it was okay. So and then move on from there. Favorite part, man, like in the AMA we did, I answered that it was the QuakeCon Jewel versus Thulder set, and I stand by that. That set was phenomenal.
Pretty darn good.
It was so good. You know what? I probably just have to stick with that answer.
Yeah.
A really, really good set. QuakeCon Jewel has talked a little bit about in his interview with Tessel blog about how he like stands by his plays, how he like was playing to win, not to not lose, which I love. And how like Thulder needed to have very specific outs, and he happened to have them. Yeah, I just think that series was so nice and high level and impressive play wise that it was the match of the year for me.
Honestly. Yeah, well, and it was pretty sad that they were on the same side of the bracket, for me, because I have to be honest,
I mean, no disrespect to any of the players.
Oh, no.
Thulder versus QuakeCon Jewel was the finals.
I largely agree. I would have been interested to see how Super Thanks fared against Thulder as well, but actually,
Super Thanks' Dominion deck. I was talking to Lateralis about this afterward because he helped prep for Super Thanks a lot, and he said that like in 80% of their testing, the Dominion deck did very, very well against Tribunal. It was just like one of those games, and he happened to lose where he like testing wise he shouldn't have. So I would have been really curious to see how that Dominion deck did, because I think that was a very, very strong deck, especially given the like deck pool.
Yeah, well, and it performed pretty well in what was the first match against Fafal, I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, Dominion. I've been a fan of Dominion. I've been on the Dominion train for a while. I'm just not a pro player. All right.
Yeah, me either.
But yeah, no, I mean that was really cool to see. And yeah, that's the thing too. Like even not from like I'm not gonna diminish the skill of the players on the other side of the bracket, but I mean just from a spectator perspective, my favorite player to watch is Kara. Like it's just he like I don't know. I like aggro, and Kara's a great aggro player, but he also is somebody who. I mean, I remember when he brought, I think it was Warp Meta, or maybe, no, I think it was a Team Rank Star Classic, but he brought like mid archer when nobody was playing mid archer. And I was
Yeah.
like, hell yeah! Like just that ability
Do it,
and
man.
willingness
Live
to
your life.
just buck the norms and go and take something that is anti meta. I always appreciate. You know.
You know what my other favorite moment was? Now that I think about it, when Boomslife's seducer Darkfire kept the piercing javelin stuck in someone's hand for like 6 turns.
Yeah, and like a cast too, I think.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
I don't know about running 3 of them. I think 2 would have been fine, but I really liked it. It was really cool.
Yeah, I'm not big on Seducer Darkfire, but that's just because I don't do Control. So maybe if I played Control, I would be interested in Seducer Darkfire.
Other favorite moment was watching TDC Jason's eyes light up when he had a control mirror.
Yeah, I bet he was happy.
Like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, no, I think my favorite moment was where Boom's Life decided that he had an aggressive hand, despite him being the controlling matchup traditionally, and just said, all right, screw it, I'm going to go and win now. And I think that there is, I really, really think that for me, and I haven't watched much of Boom's Life. I didn't watch him when he was, I guess, streaming back in the day. I mean, I watched Bradford Lee and CVH almost exclusively. I didn't really watch anyone else. Charmer a little bit. But that really cemented for me, man, he's really good. Because I think there are so many people who would have chickened out of that line, who would have convinced themselves, no, I'm the control player. I'm not going to make this decision, even though my hand dictates that I have such good tools for this.
He is very, very good. I will say the Cloud Rest Prophecy helped a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he might have backed out of that game. Like, I think he might have backed out of that line.
But yeah, the fact that he opted
without
into that win at all is a big deal.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I mean that was really at the more as I was thinking about it, like, you know how you watch a game and you're like, yeah, that play makes sense. Yeah, that play makes sense. You know, and then it's when you see something that doesn't make sense, but then you're like, no, I was wrong.
Your shadow? What?
Well, and just saying, no, I was wrong. That was the correct play. Wow, like my expectations have been dissolved. That is good viewing. You know what I mean? That's good viewing right there.
Subvert me, baby.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, I mean, let me ask this. Do you have any awesome stories that you want to share about QuakeCon? Yes. I'm sure there were plenty of them. We've got time for 1 or 2 if you want to give me some cool stories. 2. Make me jealous. Yeah.
Both of these are going to be covered by Silverfuse's vlog when she finally releases that. I was going to do one, but then I got lazy and realized my footage is terrible, so go watch hers when she puts it out. But there are 2 stories that are too good not to share. 1, we went out for like a TRS lunch on Saturday. And the lunch we went to was attached to a Bass Pro Shop. Now, if you don't know what a Bass Pro Shop is, it is like the epitome of America, where it's like camping, shooting, archery, like ammo, like
guns, fishing, and camping.
Exact knives, all of that kind of stuff. And Eolus and her husband, both of which are just phenomenal people, by the way. Shout out to them for being absolute sweethearts.
Yeah.
They wanted to go into the Bass Pro Shop because like they have nothing like that in New Zealand because they have reasonable gun laws.
Right.
So we go in and she's like looking at handguns and is like, "Can I touch one?" Can I pick that up? So she didn't end up doing that. However, what she did end up doing was picking up a crossbow. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen like a petite 5'6" Aussie girl hold a crossbow.
Oh man!
Let me see if I can find a picture of it really quickly. Here we go. Yeah, let me see if this shows up on the screen. No, not really.
Wait. Oh my gosh!
And so, like, again, Silverfuse's vlog will cover this because she was also there. But it was just the best. The second story, which is probably better.
I don't know. I'm geeking out about this because I mean I can 100% hear her saying, "Can I touch this?" Like, that's funny.
Here's the better story, though.
Okay.
It's funny to think there could be a story better than that, but there is. So for anyone who knows Charmer, like has watched enough of his content, seen him casting, seen him like streaming and on his YouTube, uh, he's a morose dude. Like that's his shtick. That's the character that he plays.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if anyone ever tells you that like YouTubers and whatnot aren't in character, they're lying. Everyone has at least parts of themselves that they accentuate or play down.
Yep. Can confirm.
Charmer decides to play up the sad boy routine, and it works really well for him.
It's funny,
like a great shtick. It's really funny, and like I love him for it. In person, the dude's a spitfire, man. He is like a devious little fuck. It's great. Also, he's jacked. My word.
Yeah, he's in good shape.
He was like running around, trolling people, getting into arguments about Varen Aquilarios. But the cream of the crop of Charmer for the weekend, bar none, was on Saturday night. We were sitting around one of the long tables in the lobby of the Gaylord Hotel, and we were playing Lazergician's Cube, which for anyone who doesn't know is drafting Magic, but instead of using packs, you have a pre-selected like draft environment that someone creates themselves. It's a ton of fun. We were drafting, and we look over at Charmer, and he's talking to these two middle-aged women who are very intoxicated, as one tends to be on a Saturday night at a hotel in Texas.
Yeah, fair.
And so the beginning of this is secondhand knowledge that I got from Charmer, but I'll tell you when I came in. Apparently, the two women were playing music and trying to get him to dance for them. Now, Charmer is very married and has two adorable kids, and apparently is not one to dance for strange drunk women at a hotel on a Saturday night.
I'd say that's a wise policy in general.
Yeah, it probably is. It's very understandable.
Yeah.
But Griffin Gasp, that's right, Blast from the Past, name that you probably know from streaming before last QuakeCon, happened to walk by at like just the wrong time to catch Charmer's attention. He deflected the Cougar's attention onto him by saying, "Oh, but Griffin here used to be a stunt double for Magic Mike."
Oh no!
Magic Mike is a Channing Tatum movie about male strippers, which was like Twilight but for middle-aged women.
Yeah.
So Griffin,
Charmer,
God bless the kid, he just went with it. He had no context for what was going on. He was just like, "Oh yeah, I mean, Channing's a bigger guy, and like I had to bulk up for the film. I've lost in the years since then, but yeah, it was a really good time being on set." Like, I should also mention he has had a couple drinks at this point as well. Not like a lot, but like enough to where it makes sense that he would be like, "Yes, I was a stunt double for Magic Mike." And for like, I swear to God, an hour and a half, two things were happening. One, the Cougars were hitting on Griffin. Two, Charmer was literally rolling on the floor in laughter.
And like, I got like, oh my gosh.
Like, Charmer's character. Charmer doesn't laugh. That's his shtick. Seeing this like dude who's usually talking about wanting to hang himself going on and on and on in laughter about how he like got Griffin set up with two Cougars in Texas.
Oh my god.
Amazing. Now, okay, again, Silverfuse has footage of this.
Good. I need to see Charmer laughing.
Yeah, so as soon as it is up, Silverfuse, put a link in the description of this video to your vlog because the people need to see this. It was amazing.
The people need to see it.
It was so funny. Oh my god.
Wow.
And then, like Thuldir was really happy to win the Master Series qualifiers and stuff, and we were all happy for him. But it really was about the Cougars.
It was about the Cougars. I mean, Tessel, but Magic Mike dancing thing.
Yeah, man, it was something else. It was a lot of fun hanging out with everybody. Like, these people for so long, you finally get to like meet them in person. It was a really great time. And then seeing Charmer like crying, laughing on the floor of a hotel was really just the icing on top.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, that is reinforcing my FOMO right now. I talked to Lateralis, before QuakeCon, and he was trying to convince me to, I guess, drive down with them. And I was just like, I said, I would love to do that, but my moniker, my internet name is not a joke.
Yeah.
So it wasn't in the cards, but that's so cool. I cannot wait to watch the vlog. I cannot wait to watch that.
Like I may just like throw up a video of like all of the pictures and videos I took just strung together without editing just for posterity. But Silverfuse I know is planning to like do a vlog breakdown of the event, and I when and if that happens, I highly suggest that everyone check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Seconded, because I'll be watching it. I'm very excited now.
It was great.
I mean, I probably would have watched it anyways. I consume pretty much the majority of Tesla content that I see anyways, eventually.
YouTube.com/c/Lazergician.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But yeah, no, I will have to check that out, and so should all of you wonderful viewers or listeners, depending on how you want to consume this media. But yeah, so one last question, I guess, and then we will wrap it up, and you can get on with your evening. This is just, what was your favorite deck? One deck out of all of the lineups at the Master Series. One deck, not lineup, not even contextualized in the lineup. What's your favorite deck?
Yeah, just
the one that you would want to go and play.
Okay, so I like a cop-out answer and a real answer.
Okay.
The real answer is Super Thanks' Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
I've made a couple of videos on aggro Dominion. It's an archetype that I like a lot. And specifically, I was talking to the TRS members after the tournament, and they said that the purpose of Dominion aggro is that it is an aggro deck that never runs out of gas. You think Halalu can cantrip well? When that Dominion deck gets going, it always has a full hand of cards.
It's true. It's scary.
It is, and hearing that completely changed my perspective on how I should be playing that deck. I was playing it as a very reach heavy, like the way I titled my video when I first did it was over the top Dominion, where it was get a bunch of damage in, and then you put in a buttload of reach, so you can just reach right over their stabilization.
Yeah, Swift Strikes and stuff like that.
Yeah, Swift Strikes, Bolts, Blockade Messenger, and Kano. Those colors have a buttload of reach. But when they kind of changed my paradigm on how that should be played as a very long form aggro deck, I really want to try it out.
Yeah.
That's the real answer. My cop-out answer is Rita's Sorcerer.
Yeah.
I don't like the way he built his Sorcerer. Not that I think it was bad. It's that I talked to him about it the day after, and the way he designed his Sorcerer is as a counter push deck, he called it. You put in enough pressure, like just barely enough pressure in the early game to where control decks are, really feeling it, but also enough early game defensive tools such that you could stave off aggro really well and then have a really, really easy time killing them in one fell swoop after. We saw that versus, who was he against in the first round?
Kara, yeah.
We saw that in the first game where he would have won that, or in the third game, where he would have won that game if Karakhan Jewel hadn't managed to get the Prophecy.
Yeah, barring Prophecy, yeah.
So I don't like that style of Sorcerer. I like a little more proactive version. So I reached Legend this season, the day I got back, by playing my own aggressive Sorcerer, which is an archetype that I just hadn't played with in MOE. Like I just hadn't done it yet. So while I don't like his deck in specific, just because it's not the way I would like to play it, I like that I saw it.
You like that Sorcerer was there.
Well, I like that Sorcerer was there specifically because it reminded me that it's a deck that I enjoy that I haven't played in a long time that I should give some attention to because I haven't in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
It's like the equivalent of, you know what? I haven't called my mom in a couple of weeks. I should
yeah. Oh, Sorcerer's been missing me. I should really catch up with him. Me and Sorcerer should catch up.
No, I care.
No, I get that. I kind of did a similar thing on stream yesterday, which was, man, Kara's Red Crusader reminded me that I want to play Crusader. That deck is good.
I'm terrible at piloting it, so it's a tier 3 deck. But
it certainly is interesting. I totally I was going like up and down with it. until I kind of realized I needed to do math before I started playing things out. And then once I started doing math, I did very well with it. But I'm very resistant to doing math.
I had a 50% win rate with Sorcerer for like 3 hours because I was just like, I wasn't playing it right. And then I started going face like 80% of the time and just traded when it was a favorable trade, and it worked out a lot better.
Yeah, one of the things that
I gotta get used to a deck.
Yeah, well, and also just like, so I remember doing coaching with Endo, and Endo saying I was playing and he was watching, and Endo saying, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Play that scimitar now." And I was like, "Why? What if I want to use it to trade with?" He's like, "Are you mid range?" No.
Okay,
and he's like, the damage stacks over multiple turns. You want to play it now? You're missing 2 damage every turn that you wait on your scimitar. And I'm like, mind blown. I immediately turned around, and as I played it was aggro Daggerfall, I hit legend with it, easy the next day, because I was like, you're totally right. I'm just ruining the point of having items in here.
Yeah. Mid-range Daggerfall is what I climbed a legend with in June, and what I did 80% of my climb with this season. I like Beefcake Daggerfall, just big stuff on curve every game. Is my
I call it Swaggerfall.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I love that archetype so much.
Yeah. Well, I actually, the item Daggerfall is my bread and butter. I really think that is a deck that I would love to play in a tournament. I hope somebody that's not Team Rankstar makes tournaments, darn it, because I want to go and play in it.
For what it's worth, viewers, DeadBrokeNerd has put out a video on his item Daggerfall. You should check it out. It is lovely.
It's certainly fun. I also enjoyed pissing off Lateralis playing it in our warm up, and he was like, "This isn't supposed to be good." But anyways. One last thing, Laser. You went from right after QuakeCon last year, or the Master Series last year. You said I'm gonna cast next year.
Yep.
And you did.
Yep.
Let me just I'm actually not even asking a question about that, because I'm putting that in context. And now what I would like you to do is, do you have any advice for someone who looks at your success, and maybe it's not even casting, maybe it's competitive, but they have that target up on the wall and they say, I want that. How do you get there?
Okay. So for me, it was really about identifying something that was lacking at the moment. When I started casting, the only people who had casted were Endozoa, Jelly, Charmer, and Justin Larson, and CVH, I guess, and Raptor. But Raptor and CVH, they had other things going on, so they weren't people who were going to focus on it. And, I noticed that the community didn't have anyone who specialized in casting. And I am a, relatively personable guy who was comfortable talking in front of crowds for prolonged periods of time. So I decided that's where I was going to put my efforts. It was, I think the identification that was a gap that I could fill was probably the most important part out of the whole thing. If it was 4 years, if I wanted to be a Hearthstone caster right now, then it would have been substantially more difficult, and the entire story would be very different. So the first thing is, if you want something out of Legends, my first piece of advice would be really analyze what the community needs and how you can fulfill that niche. If you're not trying to be competitive, if you're trying to be competitive, don't ask me. I haven't got a clue. I'm terrible at this game. But after that, it was really just being really obnoxious about finding opportunities, honestly. I lucked into my first one when I got coaching from Endozoa, and I mentioned I wanted to cast. He's like, well, I cast Warp Meta. Do you want to do that with me? And I said, yes. Yes, I do. And then I pestered Automaton every week after that as hey, can I cast this week? Hey, can I cast this week? Hey, can I cast this week? And then I wrote articles on Team Rankstar about casting. And so I just kind of really entrenched myself in as many different ways as I could as the caster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not the best analyst, which I'm I will freely admit, Silverfuse, Charmer are much, much better than me. Even you're better than me at analysis. Not even. That's not supposed to be surprising.
No. It's maybe. I'll give you a maybe.
Yeah. But I think I feel relatively confident in saying I was the first person in Legends to focus on being a caster first and a player second.
Yeah.
I am a player in order to enable myself as a better caster. So it's really about identifying a gap you can fill, that you are happy to fill, bug the shit out of anybody you can in order to make it happen, and then just work at it. I mean, frustratingly, there's not a lot of like shortcuts. I kind of just had to haul butt and cast literally every tournament I could get my hands on where I was out of town. But it worked out.
Yeah.
I had a goal. I hit it. I'm very happy. And I thoroughly intend on hitting it again next year.
Hell yeah. No, you're that's a really great point. Identifying where the community has need and trying to fill that need. That's actually really, really awesome.
That's not what Tesla can do for you, but what you
and on that note, we are going to sign off. This has been Lazergician. Laser, thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure, man.
All right, and don't forget, guys, that you can tune in to TeamRankstar.com. Check out various articles. You have their YouTube page where there are videos. You're already there ostensibly. You might as well check out the other videos. There's stuff on Underlords, Eternal, all sorts of things. So check out all the stuff that Team Rankstar has to offer, and we will see you out there on the ladder.